Hi viewers, welcome to Bosco Campus Vision. I am Darshana. Hope all of you heard my previous sessions. Today we are going to discuss about character, one of the elements of tragedy and types of recognition. So in chapter 6 of Poetics, Aristotle outlines the 6 different parts of tragedy we already discussed. And it denotes character and thought as attributes of the agents in the tragedy. In a precise way, we can say that character denotes the moral aspects of an agent, while thought denotes the intellectual aspects. Thought is generally exhibited in speeches that enunciate general truths and the like. An agent's thoughts are what he or she shares in common with everyone and what can be expressed clearly and directly to other people, etc. Character means what is unique to each individual agent, what people want, what their motives are, what they are willing to do to get what they want, why they want. So, all of these questions fall within the realm of character. Let us discuss in detail. In chapter 15 of Poetics, Aristotle turns his attention toward the character of the tragic hero and he points out 4 important requirements for the character. First one, the hero must be good. That is, the character of the hero denotes the hero's moral purpose in the play, and a good character will have a good moral purpose. Second point is the good qualities of the hero must be appropriate to the character. For example, warlike qualities can be good, but that is not appropriate for women characters. Third point is the hero must be realistic or true to life. That means if the character is drawn from myth, he should be a reasonable semblance of the character portrayed in myths. That is the term realistic meant by Aristotle. Fourth point is the hero must be consistent, by which Aristotle means the hero must be written consistently. That means like the plot, that is when we discussed about the plot unity of action mentioned, that is the sequence of events. Like the plot itself, the behavior of the characters should be seen as necessary or probable in accordance with the internal logic of their personality. That is the term consistent meant by Aristotle in Poetics. So, to clarify the distinction between thought and character, let's take one example. We all heard that to be or not to be speech in Hamlet. It's a famous speech in Hamlet. We all heard. Hamlet is debating whether or not he should commit suicide, reasoning on the one hand that this life is full of pain and misery and death is a quick way to escape from all these miseries. But on the other hand, that no one knows what happens after death and that perhaps death is even worse than life. Here, thought is expressed in Hamlet's reasoning. We all readers, spectators or audience can all understand his reasons. And we can then think for ourselves which reasons are good and which are bad. So, understanding thoughts is a simple matter of interpretation, but understanding character is an uncertain procedure that requires penetrating psychological insight. So, the first and second requirements basically demand that the tragic hero be of good and appropriate character. That is, his motives, desires, ambitions, etc., ought to be admirable to some extent and well suited to his station in life, that is, most appropriate to his state. Then they must be true to life, or realistic in the sense means true to what the audience already knows of the hero. Then last one is the hero's behavior must be consistent, that is, consistent is parallel to unity of plot. That means every action in the plot should be casually connected to every other action. So, tragedy viewed as a whole, like the internal consistency of a clock, similarly, an agent should behave in such a way that every decision, every action can be read as a manifestation of a single unified character. So, like the internal consistency of a clock, here an agent should be consistent in the way that every action should be read or considered as a single unified or manifestation of a single unified character. That means character too should have the regularity of a clock. There should be a seeming inevitability in every decision the hero makes based on what we know of the hero's character. Next, Aristotle lists different types of recognition available to a poet. We already discussed about anagnorisis and peripeteia in the previous sessions. According to Aristotle, a best plot is a complex plot, and a complex plot should have these two elements, that is anagnorisis and peripeteia, that is reversal and recognition. In the later chapters, again Aristotle mentions different types of recognition. First, there is recognition by signs. That means through bodily marks, external ornaments like jewelry or some other marking that shows the secret identity of a person. And Aristotle calls this type of recognition the least artistic type. For example, handkerchief in Othello. So, such type of recognition Aristotle considers as the least artistic type. Second one is there is recognition invented by will or the sudden revelation of an identity without forewarning or necessity. And Aristotle says it is a type of device wanting in art. Wanting, we all know that the term means lacking or deficient, etc. So, recognition invented by will or the sudden revelation of an identity without forewarning or necessity, such type of recognition according to Aristotle is wanting in art. It is a device, it is a type of device that wanting in art. Then a third type is recognition from memory. That is where a character sees an object or something and it awakens a feeling. That is, the character remembers something. That is recognition from memory. Then the fourth one is recognition from reasoning. That means a character determines a secret identity through a process of deduction. Deduction means that logical conclusion by reference to a general principle or law, or equating with a general principle or law, something like that. So, fourth one is recognition from reasoning, that is that arriving at a logical conclusion. That recognition where a character determines a secret identity through a process of deduction. Then fifth one is recognition involving false interference, where a messenger or outside character facilitates the revelation. That is false interference through a messenger or outside character. That is the fifth one, recognition. Then the last and the sixth type of recognition It is the best type of recognition that arises from the incidents themselves, and the discovery is made naturally in the course of the plot. So, according to Aristotle, this recognition is the best type of recognition, that is, recognition that arises from the incidents themselves and the discovery is made naturally in the course of the plot. Such type of recognition is the best type of recognition. So these are the 6 types of recognition that Aristotle points out in the Poetics. All these elements here means what we discussed today and in the previous sessions. So all these elements are leading towards one important point, that is catharsis, that is purification or purgation of mind, that is release of emotions. And it is the effectiveness of catharsis that demonstrates the power of tragedy or drama. Hope all of you understand this session. See you again. Thank you.